Hello and welcome to another edition of Overcoming Illness. I am your host and founder of Enrich Your Health. I am the CEO of Enrich Your Health. I'm a holistic health consultant. I help my clients stop living a life of pain and suffering by giving simple dietary and lifestyle tips. So I suffered from multiple food allergies. So I like to give simple recipes, and I do mean simple. So I have recipes on my website. You can go to enrichyourhealth.com, ENRICHURHEA. Listening. You're just going to go to the store and you'll see lots of recipes there that are dairy free, gluten free, nut free, low in sugar, things like that. Because that was one of the things that was missing for me having multiple food allergies. So feel free to go there and check that out. If you need customized recipes, I'm your girl. I can do that as well. So I'm looking for other people to partner with, practitioners that need recipes for their clients or patients. If you're a chiropractor, if you're a doctor, a nurse, holistic practitioner, whatever, you just need more recipes for your clients or patients, please reach out to me. You can reach out to me at info@enrichyourhealth.com. Once again, so UR, so ENRICHUR, HEALTH.com. You can get me on Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger, or just by phone, 508-330-9665. You can text me and I'll get back to you. And I am looking for more guests for my show. If you've gone through an illness, going through an illness, or you witness people going through illnesses like my guest tonight that we're going to have, which I'm really excited about, reach out to me for that. And I'm looking for sponsors and for you to be in the business spotlight. So you can reach out to me for that. So if you haven't seen the show, please go back and watch some of the replays. I've had people on with cancer, congestive heart failure, mold toxicity, all kinds of different things, autism, all kinds of different things. So autoimmune issues. Go back and watch some of the replays. Make sure you give some love to Elevation TV Network. That is on YouTube, or you can go on Facebook. It's Elevation TV Network, and give them some love. And you can also like my YouTube channel as well, Enrich Your Health with a UR. So enough about me. I am excited to have our guest tonight. We actually met, believe it or not, doing a Canva tutorial. So I am learning so much stuff about Canva and all the great things you can do. But let me introduce you to Miss Erica Horton. Erica is an entrepreneur. Her journey has been one of faith, family, and perseverance to endure. She's a blessed mother of 5, ranging in from the ages of 9 to 28. That's quite a range.
Yes.
Her oldest son at the age of 14, she had her oldest son at the age of 14, which that in itself is quite the journey. I'm sure she could write a book about that. Her husband and her have been together for 13 years. She began a career in healthcare as a phlebotomist in 2003. After seeing the impact of the nurses, she enrolled in a community college and became an LPN in 2005. She journeyed through many years with the goals of taking care of her children as a single mother, not becoming a statistic, and ensuring that her children would have a role model and a legacy. She now holds a master's degree in nursing, and in her pursuit of holistic care, she found a clinic specializing in IV vitamins and minerals to enhance lives, which I am so excited just to hear some of the testimonials of what that's done. However, recently the Lord has told her to close her clinic. This decision has been guided by her faith and marks the beginning of a whole new chapter in her life, one she looks forward to exploring with both anticipation and trust in God's plan. So welcome, Erica. Thank you for being on tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I really look forward to sharing everything with you on tonight and with your community.
Well, thank you again for being here. So I'm excited to talk just about your entire journey. So let's just start with a little bit of your background. Where did you grow up? Did you have any brothers and sisters?
Yes, so I grew up in Columbus, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Small hometown. Everybody kind of knows everybody. I have two sisters and two brothers.
Okay.
We are a big family. My grandmother, I believe she had 12 children. So
Wow.
we're a loving family. We like to get together. We like to plan events and spend needed time with each other. Um, as you said in my bio, I have four boys and one girl.
Mhm.
My oldest is 28 years old. My youngest is 9.
Wow.
And my God, that it has been a journey. It has been
Mm.
a journey.
Wow, I can imagine. Yeah, that's not an easy thing. Not at all. And we'll talk about that. Absolutely. So
Yes.
running a clinic is a significant undertaking. So let's just start with that. Like, what made you decide to start your own clinic? How did you get into it? Like, just start from the beginning with that.
So it all of it really blends together. As I was coming up, after I had my first son, who is 28, after I had him, I was so super focused on making sure that not only would he have a mentor, a legacy, but then he would also see someone, see his mom do well and progress and reach her goals. As I began to go through healthcare and see what was needed and see the population, it made me want to go forward in school. It made me want to go on and get a master's degree in nursing.
Hmm.
So I got a master's degree in nursing in 2019. Prior to that, I was traveling. My husband and I set a goal, and we actually traveled. I did some travel nursing in Florida and in Texas. While we were at our last location, I had begun to ask God, okay, what do you want me to do?
Hmm.
Because I was like, it's got to be more than this. I was like,
Right.
it's like
Right.
it's got to be more than this.
Yeah.
We were in Florida, away from home, so I didn't know a whole lot of people. I didn't have that big community network there. So
Hmm.
I was actually working like 5 different jobs. Whenever you get out of
Oh my.
school as a nurse practitioner, yeah, look, yes, I'm gonna tell you how that goes.
Yeah.
So whenever you finish school as a nurse practitioner, it's a little difficult to get your first position because they look at it as you don't have any experience. So even though I had many, many years of nursing experience, I didn't have any experience actually as a nurse practitioner. So, being as that was the case, I was doing travel nursing for one job. I was also doing some locum tenens or travel nursing for another job, and then I worked part time for a cardiologist who would send me into nursing homes to care for patients. I also took a clinical adjunct position as a nurse practitioner, as a master's prepared nurse to teach. And that whole thing was like, okay, God, yes, I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. I want to teach. I want to help your people. I want to operate in my gift, but I don't want to do it like this. I don't want to be
Yeah.
running and have all of these different jobs. So I began to pray and ask God, okay, what is it? What is it that I can do with the skills that you have already given me that will create another life for us where we don't have to be stressed? And looking around at our geographical position, looking around at our location and everything that it had to offer, we saw people that were actively out every day, walking, riding bikes,
Hmm.
eating foods, everything. They had way more than I could have imagined being from a hometown. Because here we don't have readily available sidewalks to just go out and walk.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, it's like on the highway walking if I had to go out and ride my bike right now from home to the store.
Mhm.
So, being in Florida, being in Texas, I noticed that people were really, really conscious about their health. They
Mm.
wanted to make sure that they were healthy, they were well. I began to kind of look back at the things that were around me, and God caused me to see how dedicated people were and also that IV hydration with vitamins and minerals. Then it was fairly new, even in Texas and in Florida. But I was thinking, I was like, okay, God, what are you showing me? I'm asking questions, I'm seeking His guidance.
Right.
And as you mentioned in my bio, I became a phlebotomist early on. And so I had a really, really, really great love for drawing blood. I love to stick people.
Most
I
people don't
love love. Yes, I love to stick people because guess what? It don't hurt me.
like. Yeah.
So I love to stick people. The time that I was a phlebotomist, I got to meet a lot of people, got to see a lot of people. I got to, sometimes I saw them at their best, sometimes I saw them at their worst, but God
Yeah.
allowed me to see people at different times, and He allowed me to gain my skill level back then and prepare me for years later. I never
Hmm.
knew back then that I would even consider doing that. So as I started considering it and researching, I researched for probably 2 or 3 years, and then
Wow.
time came. Yeah, time came for us to actually get the opportunity to come back to Columbus, Mississippi.
Hmm.
So even though God had placed that in my spirit about starting an IV hydration company, I was like, okay, all right, I'm studying, I'm getting all of this information, I'm finding out what is needed because I don't want to be unprepared. Once I
Mm.
got back to Columbus, I kind of got stuck in complacency, and I went to work, and I just worked and worked and worked. But
Mm.
my husband was like, "Hey, don't forget. Don't forget about the business. Don't forget."
Hmm.
And one day I was in the shower and I was praying. That's one of my quiet places. That's one of my places where I can cry, I can pray, I can leave it all at the altar.
Right.
One day I was praying in the shower and God said, "Do it now." And I knew what He was talking about.
Hmm.
So at that moment, as soon as I got out, I began to start researching um, what I needed to get started here in this area. So that's how I came to get started, just by listening to His voice and being aware that, okay, when He says move, it's time to move.
Time to move. Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
I
Yep.
had previously thought, hey, we're in a small city. This may not work. The devil had all kinds of
Right.
doubtful things for me, all kinds of
Yeah.
doubtful things. But I had to listen to God, and when I heard Him that morning in the shower, none of those excuses mattered anymore. None
Mm.
of those excuses mattered. And when I started that day doing and making steps toward what He told me, nothing was a barrier. So I was able to go ahead and get started and get the business up and running in about a month and a half. In about a
You got
month and a half.
a month and a half. That's
Yes,
amazing. That is
yes. I
really when you
was I'm
think about, yeah.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said when you think about it, I mean, just like finding a place and all of that, like getting the
Yeah.
right price, getting the right equipment, the right staff. I mean, that's amazing.
Well, I had already been researching for years. So it's like I had taken all of the classes, I had researched, I had studied. I was starting out with just me. I was starting out with no office or anything. The plan was just to be able to go to people's homes to do concierge type care or go into to offices. But then I was given the opportunity to actually have an office and get started. So from there, it was so very amazing because I was able to meet people and also able to help people with a history of Lyme disease and see their numbers get better. I was able to actually come in contact with people that had irritable bowel syndrome and leaky gut and
Mhm.
other things like chronic pain they had dealt with for years, but I
Right.
was able to see them get better. And that was the most amazing thing, to
Yeah.
see them get better.
Yeah. I could have used you when I was diagnosed with multiple food allergies. I definitely could have used your help. Oh my goodness. I'm probably
Yes.
about now that I've changed my diet and everything, I'm about I would say like 95% better. I
Hmm.
just more like weak digestion, like if I have anything too heavy, too much gluten, um, even gluten-free stuff, then of course it doesn't want to digest. So I just say it's
Yeah.
weak digestion. It is an autoimmune issue, but and it begins with an
Hmm.
E, even being able to, you might know what it is, but I can't pronounce it. And soft, although I didn't find that out until a year. I mean, I figured it out after I moved to North Carolina. I was 50 something years old, and
Hmm.
I got diagnosed with it in my 50s, but
Wow.
I started with it in my 30s. I didn't know what it was. Nobody knew what it was. I just had a
And
treatment. Yeah.
that's what's
Don't discuss
um
that.
amazing. It's what's amazing, but also what's so unbelievable that we have such great advances in the medical community, but people actually suffer for years because they don't know, or
Hmm.
they're not, no one can pick up on things like your
Right.
disease. And believe it or not, there are more people who have those same instances. I've talked with, and I've actually seen people who say, "I've been dealing with this for 2 years. I've been dealing with this for 3 years."
Mm.
One of my best examples is my client who was diagnosed with Lyme disease. She is from here, and she was originally told that, hey, you don't have Lyme. There's no way you could have Lyme because you're from Mississippi. You haven't been anywhere. All of that stuff. But she was facing a disabling fatigue, pain, all kinds of different signs and symptoms. Excuse me. She was facing all kinds of different signs and symptoms, and it had gone on years before someone actually sat down and listened to her. And then they said, "Hey, you traveled actually for your honeymoon to this place." And that key point of information tied everything together, and that practitioner tested her for Lyme disease. Once that came back positive and she began seeking holistic care and seeing other doctors, um, her defining moment was actually when she came to my clinic. She came
Mm.
to my clinic. We did a, a customized infusion for her. It is called, it's actually called the Myers cocktail, but it's our version, and it's called Resilient Health. So that your health can be resilient. It can keep bouncing
Oh,
back. You
wow.
can keep going. So we customized that infusion for her and placed some really, really great stuff in it, like B vitamins, vitamin C, and other things. And I kid you not, it was so amazing. I was in tears to hear her testimony. A couple of days after her first infusion, I got the call from her spouse, and even her family members that said this was the best she's been in over 3 years.
Oh,
She
wow.
hasn't felt normal in over 3 years.
Mm.
The weakness was gone. It was truly, truly amazing to watch God actually change a person's outlook on life and their
Hmm.
health.
Right. Yeah. So anybody who hasn't watched the show and you don't really know me, I've been a Lyme disease advocate. I've helped out when I'm in North Carolina now. I've helped out in Massachusetts with Central Mass Lyme Foundation.
Uh-huh.
So I used to go to all the group meetings. They were once a month. I met speakers on Lyme disease. I met famous doctors on Lyme disease. I actually went to a Lyme disease conference in Philadelphia. That was from ILADS,
Hmm.
International Lyme Association Disease Society, which was an amazing event. Um, so I've learned so much about Lyme disease, and it is so debilitating and so
Yes.
swept under the rug. People are told they're crazy. They're,
Yes.
I can't even tell you. They have so many symptoms, as you probably saw. They have brain fog. We call it Lyme brain. They can't remember
Yes.
things. Um, they have joint pain, knee pain, elbow pain, sometimes Bell's palsy, lockjaw,
Yeah.
eye sensitivity, sight sensitivity, sound sensitivity.
It's a
So
lot.
issues. A lot of times they're diagnosed with fibromyalgia or MS, but it's really Lyme disease. So, and they all like fall under this same umbrella. They are not one and the same, but they're so similar, like lupus, Lyme disease, MS,
Yeah.
Parkinson's. You must have seen a lot of that, right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I've seen a lot in just a wide range.
Mm,
Um, and oftentimes it breaks my heart that people go so long without a diagnosis.
right.
And so it is, I'll find myself often really going to God for people because I want to be able to help them and
Mm,
I have to have the answers from him. So I find myself asking, okay, God, you know, help me, or what else do I need to look at? What else do I need to consider? So I spend time talking to the clients. I spend time talking to my patients, and God helps me actually just by listening, being able to hear, hey, I did this, I went here, I did this, I did that. Sometimes people think those little things are insignificant, but while we're just talking and having conversation, there are things that God helps me to pick up on that helps
mm,
me kind of connect the dots to figure out, number one, what's the root cause? Where is all this coming from? And
right.
then number two, how do we get started to help them get better?
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So, what do I want to say? So just doing all that, like we know that the government, they want us to do Western medicine. Did you come
Yes.
across a lot of red tape? I mean, to keep the doors open as long as you could?
Um, well, so um that part, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I will tell you, once I got started, it was kind of right in the middle of COVID, and
Hmm.
and just something as simple as giving people with COVID vitamin C and zinc through their IV to help them to stay out of the hospital, or
Hmm.
help them to not get sick and pass away, to help them to not decline. Just giving them things like that, I faced a lot of um, opposition. I'll say it like this: a lot of opposition,
Right.
because of course, coming into the community is small already. So there's a lot of education that was needed just on IV vitamins and minerals, and how you don't just have to be sick and in the hospital to have it, or you don't have to have anything special. But there's even more education for the rest of the community about what it can help with. So let me tell you,
I can only imagine.
let me tell you, I have I have had my integrity questioned.
Hmm.
I've had my nursing license put under a microscope. I've had people to to write anonymous letters to the board of nursing to in an
Mm,
attempt to get my business shut down.
right.
I've had several things that I've faced just in trying to care for people. I've I've never, prior to this, so I had already been a nurse for years. Never any complaints, never any issues, never any disciplinary things, nothing. In
Right.
all of my years, I had never, ever, ever, ever seen anyone from the board of nursing, never, come to a site or come to a place. Well, since my business started, I have seen someone from the board of nursing um, maybe about 4 times now.
Wow.
Maybe about 4 times. And the last 2 times that I saw them, it was twice in one week.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yes,
Yeah,
twice in one week.
they don't want us to have, I don't want to say too much, but as we know, they're just against holistic practices, you
Yes,
know.
one of the things that I found is that after one of their visits, I started then facing challenges with the suppliers, challenges with the pharmacies, and getting zinc.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
something that is
Yeah.
so so generic, so general as zinc. You know, you can go to the pharmacy, you can go to Dollar Tree, you can go to
Mm-hmm.
Dollar General, and you can pick up a bottle of vitamin C, you can pick up a bottle of zinc. But when it came to me using those methods to try to help keep people healthy and well, zinc was one of the things that now I had so much difficulty in even being able to get after one of their visits.
Yeah, zinc was hard to find when pandemic hit. Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
a lot of people were buying it because they knew that that could
Hmm.
help. But yeah,
Yeah.
that makes it really hard to run your clinic, is all that opposition. Yeah.
You know, it did make it really hard, but I was determined to stay the course and do
Hmm.
whatever the Lord told me. I was determined to to keep going the way that I knew because I knew that God was helping people. I knew that no weapon formed against me would prosper. I
Yes.
knew, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that
Hmm.
God is faithful, that He was faithful and He is faithful. And so those are the things that I stood on. Even when I saw the board of nursing more than once, I still remained steadfast. Even when I was having tears in my eyes, I still remained steadfast in the fact that, okay, God, you would never leave me this far. You would never bring me this far to leave me. There has to be something better. This is gonna pass. And so I stood in that, even when I didn't want to go to the clinic,
Hmm.
even when I didn't want to open the doors, even when Satan tried to come against me with the fear that the board of nursing would come back. I
Right.
still had to stand in that. And in those moments, God would actually have people to call me or to send me a message or to send me an email to book an appointment or to say, hey, I need you today. And He showed me that I couldn't quit and that I
Right.
was so needed. So
Oh,
I
wow.
kept going.
Yeah. Thank God you did. I mean, those people needed you, they definitely
Yes.
needed you. Like I said, I've seen it. I've seen what these people go through. I've heard about the IV.
Yeah.
I've heard about this kind of method of healing. I have heard
Hmm.
about it. I didn't know
It's,
anybody in the clinic though. So it's the kind of
it's
nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
it's truly, truly amazing.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's just so sad that just something as simple as that can help so many people. And they don't want us to, you know what I mean? They want us to use
Yeah.
Western medicine, keep us on the big pharma stuff.
Well, sometimes it's misunderstood.
Right.
Sometimes it's misunderstood, especially I think it's especially when you are in a smaller area. Usually in smaller areas, they're not privileged to see those new advancements until later down the road. And so,
Mm,
whereas years ago, when I started researching and started learning and doing all the background information for IV vitamins and minerals, when I started that years ago and it was already out in Texas, already out in Florida, Mississippi had never heard of it.
yeah.
Now, they're just now actually being a little bit more friendly to even the idea of it. So it takes a lot of education.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I give you a lot of credit for opening it and doing how many years?
This has been the third year.
Third year. And
Yes.
you did it like the prime time pandemic time, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I definitely give you a lot of credit
In the
for that.
third year. It's been
So
amazing.
with that, such an amazing thing, you would think you, you wouldn't want to close the doors, but you've had some challenges in your own life. If you care to share, and now it's time to pivot a little bit. So tell us about the challenges, like I said, whatever you care to share,
Yes.
and your faith, and what is God telling you to do now? What's your next assignment, we'll say?
Oh, wow. So this next assignment, I will be totally, totally honest with you. I don't know fully what it is. But one thing that I can tell you that I know is it's been a move that's been sanctioned by God.
Hmm.
God told me to actually close the doors of the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And so over a couple of days, as I talked to my husband about it, as I talked to God about it, as I, kind of went through, okay, God, is this what you're telling me to do? And me trying to make sure that I'm hearing him correctly.
Right.
I, after that, after getting the confirmation that that was indeed what he said, I was like, okay, God, okay, because in the end, at the end of the day, I only want to be in his will. I only want to be in his will. And so once I got that confirmation, I actually sat with the nurse. I talked to her about it as well, because it would affect her life and her family. We
Right.
I wrote a notice to the patient, and I sent an email out that would actually put the things in motion to say, hey, I do apologize, but our clinic is closing. So the clinic is actually closing May the 9th. It
Oh,
is, look, it's I don't know how to describe. It's a joy, but at the same time, sometimes it can make me emotional. But the only reason it makes me emotional is because I have an attachment to the lives and the people. I
absolutely.
Yeah, I love the people that I've met. I love the people who have touched my life and the people's lives that I've been able to change. So those are the times when I get emotional. But about letting it go, I have no doubt about that because I know what God told me to do.
You told you
So
to do
he
it.
told me to, yeah, he told me to close. So I have no regrets. As
Right.
a matter of fact, once I got on board with what God said, once I got confirmation and I said yes to his will and just being in his will, I have such an even greater sense of peace. So
Ah,
there's no looking back.
right.
There's
It
no
did.
looking back.
Yep.
So
It served its purpose. And
yes,
who knows? We don't know why God's doing what he's doing. Part of it is your personal journey, but not
yeah,
only that, but we don't know, like I said, they want us to have Western medicine. So you don't know what could have been the consequences to keep it going. You might have gotten attacked, things might happen, who knows? We don't know. I don't like to think of the negative, but let's be
yeah,
real. You know what I mean? So,
right. And the thing is, God knows,
right,
he knows beyond what we can see or what we understand. So
right.
I'm not even trying to understand that part of
No,
it because it's enough for me that he said it.
he said it.
It's
That's it.
enough for me
That's
that he said it because I can look back. I tell people all the time, um, I can look back and I know that God has a track record with me. So I can look at his track record and I can
Mhm.
see that he's never failed me. I can see that he's never let me down. I can see his faithfulness. So that helps me to not question what's going to come. Now, I will tell you, about a year ago, almost a year ago, my grandmother on my dad's side, she began to get sick, and I love her so, so very dearly. I spent a lot of time with her in her sickness, back and forth to the hospital, sometimes staying the night at the hospital and getting up and going to the clinic, seeing patients, leaving the clinic, going back to see her at lunchtime, and back and forth. And I was able to have that freedom to spend the time with her because I had the flexibility of the clinic.
Mm.
So there were a lot of days that I was able to spend with her, just during that time, and to also spend with my family and help them in making the decisions that needed to be made. But after she passed away, I it never occurred to me that I would experience such a deep sense of grief,
Mm.
such sadness as what I did. Because during the time that she was sick, I was also going through one of the anonymous complaints with the Board of Nursing. So I was already stressed about my my life. I was already stressed about things that I had worked so hard for. And then I was already also concerned about my oldest child.
Mhm.
And I hope he doesn't mind me sharing a part of his testimony. That's a part of my testimony as well. He,
Mhm.
at the same time, all of this was going on. At the same time, all of this was going on. He experienced a mental health crisis,
Yeah.
and during that crisis, um, it was it was challenging to say the most.
Mm.
He he um he is alleged to have broken into a church and taken communion.
Mhm.
And for that offense, he was arrested and he was charged, and his bond was set at $70,000.
That's insane. Yeah.
70. And so I experienced an even greater stress with thinking about him and his emotional health, my
Mhm.
emotional health and stress at that time, my grandmother, my family, my business, my life, my
Mm.
husband, everything. And
Yeah.
it was literally like everything kept happening, it's like the storm was happening. It's like the waves were beating all in my boat.
Oh,
It's like the water was trying to
but
get
Jesus is
in.
in the boat.
Yes, it's like everything was happening at one time, and that's why I
Yeah.
say there were times when I had to even stand with tears in my eyes and say, God, I'm still going to trust you. So
Mhm.
though after that time, after she passed away, and a lot of this stuff was still, I was still facing this other stuff. After that time, I spent a lot of days thinking. I spent a lot of days dreaming. I spent a lot of days contemplating.
Mm.
God spent a lot of time talking to me. God spent a lot of time revealing to me new things that I had never, ever encountered before.
Mm.
I I loved in the past, I love decorating. I love putting things together. I've always been able to say, "Hey, I'll help you put this together for your event." And just doing it because it was something that I love to do.
Right.
E- Excuse me. Even for my 10-year wedding anniversary, my husband and I did a vow renewal in our home. So for the vow renewal in our home, I decorated everything, and
Oh,
it came out just so perfect.
right.
And so during that time, and actually from that time all the way up to now, that's one of the things God caused me to look back on in the decision and in the call to obey His will. He caused me to see how, number one, the clinic, the education, the degree, none of that matters. Um, God is my source,
Yes.
and and the other stuff is really insignificant. Like a title doesn't matter, uh, the place doesn't matter, but all that matters is being in His will. But
Mhm.
as I began to look back, He actually began to show me this gift that I was kind of playing with and not taking really seriously.
Right.
So God began to show me how that gift made a difference, how I had done the vow renewal in my home, and how I like decorating things and putting them together. Even the decorations of the clinic, how people would always comment on the decor, and they would ask who designed it, and they think it's an interior designer, and it's me. And
Mm.
whatever I've asked my husband to go order so that he can put up. So it's been really amazing. From then until now, God has really been speaking to me from a creative standpoint. I have a
Mm.
lot of times now where He will wake me up in the middle of the night and He'll show me a design and He'll show me how to execute it and what to
Oh,
do.
wow.
So that's how I got over into meeting you and learning and teaching
Yes.
others. Learning and teaching others. I From January until now, I have published a journal, a
Mhm.
gratitude journal, because being in gratitude helped me in all of the things that I was going through. It helped me to speak gratefulness. It helped me to focus on the best things there is, no matter what else was going on. So I self-published a journal, and then I also published an affirmation coloring book. I was led to do the affirmation coloring book simply because of everything that I had gone through and how I love to color, even at
Hmm.
my age. I love to color, so I would sometimes to get my mind away from things, I would color, I would do crossword puzzle books, but then I would also get in the mirror and I would do affirmations and I would speak to myself while looking at myself. So it's like, hey girl, I don't care what you look like. It's like, I don't care if you're crying. I don't care how bad you feel. Your spirit got to get up.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're going through. And I literally had to speak sometimes through tears and tell myself, it doesn't matter what you feel like. What matters is the truth. What matters is that God is not going to leave you. What matters is that you can trust Him. You can trust that He's going to take care of everything.
Hmm.
So that's how I started. And then I began to, of course, research because I like to research stuff. I began to research and get into doing AI and learning more about AI, learning more about coloring books, journals, writing books. And then I started doing classes, and that's how I met you, teaching a
Yeah.
class on how to use Canva to create what's called a book trailer to market your book.
Yeah, which is that was really cool, like just learning how to do a book trailer. Because I mean, I have an anthology, so I mean that's one thing I could, it doesn't necessarily have to be an AI coloring book. It doesn't have to be, can be any
Yeah.
book. Doing a book
Yes.
trailer, I think is an awesome idea. So yeah, thank you for that. So
Yes. It can
yeah.
definitely be any book because the book trailer is just to tell people, hey, look what's coming. It's just to
Mhm.
get people excited about what you have coming, what's on the horizon, and to give them a sneak peek at it to get them interested.
Right. So basically, you guys like, if you're like, what the heck's a book trailer? It's just like trailer. You just kind of put a little bit about the book in there and a little video, and it's like, hey, this book is either coming soon or um,
Yes.
maybe you got a book signing coming up, whatever. You put that in a little video, and it's just more exciting than just a post, a flyer. This is way more,
Yes.
yeah. So something to think about. Yeah.
It's really exciting. It's really exciting because there's so much that you can do as it comes to images and the music that you put in there. You can even add your own voice. So it's
Right.
amazing.
Yeah. AI is incredible. I mean, one of the things I say about AI is, for some people listening, we are a Christian TV network, so some people get a little put off by it. They're like, it's demonic, it's this, this, that, and the other. But what I just ask God all the time, I'm like, God, I know it could be demonic, but help me just use this as a tool along with you. Like you said, God tells
Yes.
me to do this, the ABC, right? I just want it to be a tool to use with what you want me to do. So I don't want it to replace
Yeah.
you, which it could in some people. It very well could. You could just be very, you could, what's the word I want? Idolize it, right? Like
Yes.
idolatry. You can idolize the AI model and all that, but I don't want it to be that. I just want, hey, if it's going to help me do whatever, a book trailer and do it easier
Yes.
with AI, then let me, God, if this is what you want me to do, then okay. So I just wanted to be, that's my prayer with it. I just ask God, let
Hmm.
this only a tool that I can use along with what my assignment is with you.
Right.
I don't want it to replace you and what you're telling me to do or any, so that's what I do because it could very well could, oof, it's very addictive.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It can definitely take over, but don't feel like it's demonic. It's all, anything can be demonic. It's all in how you are, how your relationship with God is. It's all in, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um don't let it be demonic. It could be if you let it, but don't let it
Gotta
be.
prioritize.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
let's see, what else do we want? So one of the things, we talked about with you pivoting, which isn't the easiest thing, is art can be not just creative, but that's also healing.
Yes.
So in doing this healing work, now have you started like groups and things like mental health therapy? Have you done anything like that yet?
So I am a group is in the works. I was trying to figure out actually what to name the group
Mm,
because I want to make it a place where everyone feels comfortable and can come and leave with something. So
mm-hmm,
I'm definitely working on that, not only for the people that I've come in contact with in art, but then others as well, because I like to help people all around. So I want everyone to be able to get something from the group. In the meantime, I've created a website and I started to offer things on the website until I create the group.
right. So the yeah, to create
Yes.
the group. Yep. Yeah, because you can do a lot like with a Zoom call. I mean, you could do a vision board type
Yes.
thing,
There's
journal.
so many. There's so many ideas.
I know you could like do some kind of like I don't know, an hour a week of journaling your
Hmm.
whatever you've gone through for the week. You know what I mean? Like some just give you that time. Like say because you're a mom, you know what I mean? Like maybe a mom group that just gives them an hour to just journal, like put their thoughts out there. You know what I mean? Whatever they're
Yeah.
going through, whether they have personal life issues that similar to what you're going through, something, whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's a thought, you know.
Well, thank you. I'm definitely going to write that suggestion down because I've been trying to figure that out. I've
Oh
been
no.
trying to figure that out for a couple of weeks
Oh my
of
gosh.
what to do and how to be the most effective. Because like I said, I want to do everything that's in his will. I don't want to be outside of the will of God. And that way I know that whatever I'm doing, wherever my feet are planted, that I know that I'm going in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm thinking like something with mental health, like just like I said, moms are
Yeah.
stressed. They're stressed to the some of them are
Yeah.
homeschooling. They need like an hour to just kind of de-stress. And so if they journaled like what they're going through, maybe what they're dealing with their kids, with the whatever,
Hmm.
whatever it
Look,
might be, you know, or maybe they
look,
have autistic
I'm
and they need,
writing that down right now.
yeah, I don't know, it's just all coming to me. Just give God all the glory. But yeah, maybe they
Yes.
have like autistic children and they just need like an hour to just, chill out. Like, let me put my thoughts on paper and what I've gone through. And heck,
Yes.
that could turn into a book, you know, if
That
they,
is right. That speaks to the healing power of words,
yeah.
not only in spoken word with the affirmations, but in the written word and being able to write those things down and get them out of your head. A
Hmm.
lot of times that will relieve some stress, that will relieve
Right.
some anxiety as you unload all of that stuff.
Right.
That it really helps, and I will even tell, and I have told patients in the past. I've given one recently. I've given her a homework assignment, and that was to journal.
Yep.
And I told her, I said, look, it doesn't matter if you sit here. I told her, it doesn't matter if you sit here and you do this. It don't matter if you just scribble all over your page. If that's what you need for that day, do it. It
Right.
doesn't matter if there's just tears on the page. It
Right.
doesn't matter if you talk about five subjects on one sheet of paper. Just do what makes you feel good, and that
Yeah.
that is gonna help you in your journey. So yes, 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 yes. Great, great suggestion. I've already put it on my paper.
And I can just see, and that's where AI comes in. So, like, say they're journaling, and you just want to add like a little touch to it, like a
Yeah.
little picture on the side or a little, you know what I mean? Can't
Hmm.
draw worth 2 cents, but if you just add a little AI, you can add a
Yes.
little picture on the side or a sticker, or, whatever, and just make it more personable or whatever, you know,
Right. It helps
fun.
make
Yeah, more
help make
fun.
yes helps
Mhm.
make it funner and it helps make it helps you save time. It
Yeah.
helps you save
Oh,
time
yeah.
so that you can do another task.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, God, for these ideas. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
You definitely
yes.
need, like, and I'm definitely feeling like the mom thing, like just because you are a mom, you've dealt
Uh-huh.
with your life. Heck, you're pregnant at 14. I mean, so
Oh
you've been
wow.
through a lot of stuff. Yeah.
You, you know what? That's a whole nother area that I could probably write about because when you have a child, when you have a child at 14, I'm sorry,
Mm,
can you hear me? Yes. When you have
yes.
a child at 14, it doesn't matter if you had friends before. Those friends are all of a sudden not your friends anymore.
Right. Right.
Those parents are where they used to be parents who loved you and who didn't mind having you around and the teachers and stuff. Those are now people who don't want their children to be associated with you. Those are
Mm,
now those are now people who because you are a teenage mom challenge your induction into the honor society,
mm,
not based on your grades because you proved that you could make the grades, but based on the fact that you had a child. Those are now people who challenge your induction into the honor society. Those are people who think of you as not good enough to associate with their children. So
mm.
that definitely brings a whole other world of uh, a lot of stuff I could write about that
I
the
know.
Lord has brought me through.
Yeah, definitely. So
Yes.
let's just talk about that for 1 minute. When the baby was born, did your mom help you bring up the baby?
Oh yeah.
Your
Look,
parents?
I could not have made it without my mom, and she
Mm.
was a single mom at the time as well.
Oh my,
To me and my sister who were with her. So she was a single mom at the time, and my family, man, my family really banded together, and I didn't know, I really didn't understand. I didn't understand all of it. I didn't know a lot of anything really. But
right.
my mom, I would get up and go to school. My mom would already have planned which family member is going to keep him for the day. I had one
Oh,
family member that nicknamed him Romeo, and they just loved to kiss on him and love on him, and
what you were really
so
blessed.
yes, so she would do that, and then um, in the evening times, whether I went to volleyball practice or I went to softball practice or we went to a basketball game or to church, and when I got out of school, he was like tied to my hip. So it was such an it was a hard experience. Yes, it
Right.
was a hard experience, but it's amazing to look back on and see how my family really showed up for me because sometimes you face families that will walk away as well. And I kid you not, I do still wonder, and I have wondered in the past about I'm sorry. I have wondered in the past about some some family members and how they consider me, how they look at me, were they not proud of me until I got a master's degree or
Mm,
I became a nurse, things like that. Or how sometimes you may feel as a person that people don't really care for, certain children or certain grandchildren until they go on and do something else. Or it just brings a lot of going through things like that, experiencing things like that. It brings a lot of uncertainty at times. But for me, it speaks to the faithfulness of God in my life. It really speaks to the faithfulness of God because He shielded me from a negative self-esteem. He shielded me from a negative um, self-look and a negative
yeah.
talk. He shielded me from probably all kinds of things that I didn't realize, whether people said or did. Some things I'm aware of, but he shielded me from a lot. And it just speaks to his faithfulness. And that's actually one of the reasons, or a lot of the reasons why when I started asking him about the name for that business, why it was named Resilient Hope, because you got to keep going through some stuff. You gotta bounce back. You gotta persevere, and
Yeah.
that's all I know how to do.
Well, I tell you, and just for people to get some perspective. So in my family, my aunt was pregnant at 14,
Mhm.
and she became very jealous um of her child. She got angry with her husband all the
Yeah.
time. She was jealous of that child, like that it got in the way of her marriage because she was
Yeah.
so young. I mean, I don't know when they finally got married. I don't know, were they 15, 16? That I don't even remember. I'm not sure. But
Mhm.
she got very jealous. She was a drinker. She drank a lot. And there was a lot of alcohol in
Yeah.
that entire family, and that family. So you were very blessed. Very blessed. In
Yes.
fact,
Yes. Yes.
wound up being closer to that child than her own mother. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Amazing.
Different, just different scenario. Everything,
Yeah.
things just happen, but yeah. So I remember just growing up hearing that all the time that she was jealous of her husband and her own daughter. She looked at her
That's
as a threat,
hard.
the threat.
That's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She was jealous of her own daughter. She was just it was a threat to her and her marriage. But she wasn't secure in her marriage because well, first of all, they drank, so that wasn't helping anything. And they were just so young. They didn't even know
Yeah.
who they were. They wouldn't, so they didn't have
Right.
a
At 14, we didn't know nothing.
right. Yeah,
We know nothing. Even though we think we know it all, we know nothing.
right. So yeah,
So
you have
yes,
a good family, good support system. Yeah.
they've been amazing. It's a challenge for anyone to go through that at such a young age. Even in our time, not too many years ago, they started coming out with the show Teen Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, really? There's a lot of things, there's a lot of things, about the show that I looked at, and I was, I had to stop watching it because there were there were so many. Sometimes there were a lot of unrealistic things. Sometimes some realistic scenarios, but a lot of unrealistic things. And I just felt like, hey, the realness of the situation is that we don't even know at that age how to make our own decisions. We
Right.
don't understand a lot of things and don't have the mental capacity to understand a lot of things, and we're just looking at the here and the now, and it
Mm-hmm.
makes it hard to emotionally judge, raise a child, and have the attachment and the understanding for this life that you now are responsible for.
Right. And then another scope, I was adopted. So I'm
Mm.
always thankful
Oh
to,
wow.
yeah, I'm thankful to my biological mom for giving me up because I had a good family. Both my parents
Yeah.
have passed now, but I had a good mom, I had a good dad, good upbringing. I mean, I wouldn't live where I live now if it wasn't for them. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows if my real mom did keep me, who knows where I would be living? I might not have what I have, so I'm always thankful. Some people aren't thankful. They're like, why did
Yeah.
you, they look at the other side, like, why'd you give me up? And then, not me. Thankful.
Gratefulness and thankfulness makes a difference. Yes,
hmm
it
So we
makes a
only
big
have
difference.
left. So tell everybody how they can reach you. If there's anything, your website, anything you have for sale, you want to advertise, whatever.
Yes. So both of my books you can find on Amazon.
Mhm.
My author page is Erica Denise, and my website is my name as well. It's Erica Denise, EricaDenise, author dot mydurable, MYDURABLE.com. So Erica Denise author.mydurable.com. That's where people can look at and also order my books. They
Mhm.
can also look at the content that I have been providing. And if they would like to book a class with me, those classes are available, as well as some pre-recorded information where I've taught classes in the past. If people want to learn more about Midjourney and creating images, if they want to learn more about doing their book or journal, if they want me to create a book or a journal for them, they can book me for that as well. On Facebook, I am Erica Denise, author as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being
Thank
on
you.
tonight. This was amazing. I really enjoyed this show and just learning more about you. And
Yes.
man, you have done a lot. It just it blows me away, being a mom of so many children and, some of the challenges you've gone through and how much
Yeah.
you've done to help other people. And like we said earlier, even though, it's a little sad that she's closing the doors, but she's still going to be healing with her art and helping other people heal themselves with their art,
Yes.
whether it's a journal, whether it's a coloring book, whether it's a vision board. All these things can be healing. So we don't necessarily always need what we think we need. We don't need, we think we need all these herbs and supplements
Yeah.
and Western medicine. And I'm not, full disclosure, not medical advice, not meant to treat, heal, or cure any illness on the show, but we get caught up in that we think we need all these things, but we really
Yeah.
only need God. We need prayer and what he tells us is going to help us,
Yeah.
and sometimes you just need to release the trauma that's in you. And
Yes.
that in itself can be healing. So, like I said, not medical advice, but it and see. That's all I
Yes.
can do. Try it and see. So, anyway, thank
Well,
you so
thank
much.
you so,
Uh,
so much.
you're welcome. Thank you for being on the show. It's amazing. So, Um, once again, everybody, I'm looking for sponsors for the show, guests for the show. If you are a practitioner that have clients or patients that need recipes, reach out to me. I've had to do it all myself, so I get it. Food allergies are no fun. So I can do recipes that are gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free, all of that, and anti-inflammatory. So if you're bloated all the time, it's going to reduce that bloating and not feeling so well. So, and feeling, the joint pain and all of that. So I can help people with that. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you to the replay viewers, and we will see you next Sunday. Bye everybody. Thank you.
Bye.